Welcome to Set and Forget Traders, where precision meets patience. This isn't guesswork, it's strategy, structure, and the smart money's roadmap. If you're tired of chasing trades, strap in. We'll show you how to trade like the banks and not against them. If the market noise has been costing you money and peace of mind, you are in the right place. Hit the subscribe button. This is where structure meets mastery. Welcome to our analysis of AUDUSD, and we're glad you're here with us. We are coming to week 33 of the year 2025, but we are on the month of August. So let's just straight into the analysis. We'll start with the first day of the month of August, which was during the NFP. So this is it. During the NFP, we had the price coming from the demand zone, from the proximal line of the demand zone and the distal line of the demand zone. So we had a very clean entry into the price. If you've been following us, you could be able to spot that. So the distal line of the demand zone is around 0.64187, and the proximal line of the demand zone is 0.64327. So that was the first day, and it was the last day of the previous week 32. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If we make our analysis on the assumption of the last week, we'll be able to spot that the buyers were in control of the market from the demand zone that just was triggered by the NFP. So your question is, if the buyers are in control of the market, where is the price going to? And are there going to be any sellers coming into the market? That will be the second part of this analysis, so I'll be checking on the supply chart. But on the demand chart, we'll be able now to focus. We'll now be able to focus on the demand zone, which allows us to know where the buyers are coming in, where they're going to take their profits, and where they're going to come in the market and where they're going to take out their profits. So we already know where they came in. All right, we had a very good entry at 0.64187. So where next should the buyers be taking their profit? The buyers in this sense are a strong AUD and a weak USD. So that condition favors the bullish wave of the demand chart of the price. On Monday, we saw, so the green line is the pivot. When the price is above the pivot, it's able to be a good confirmation that the buyers are supposed to make price push higher into the next demand zone. The next demand zone is, let me highlight that for you. So the price needs to, just a brief moment, the price needs to move from the previous demand zone, which is the proximal line. The proximal line is at 0.64327, and the next demand zone, the proximal line is at 0.66131. All right, so that's the price path of the next demand zone. So you might be able to ask, what are we going to trade? And I'm going to show you something weird. So you see this half 50% of where the price needs to go. That's the take profit of where the buyers took. That's a secret, I'm telling you right now. Here you can see this is the half of the demand zone from the previous demand zone into the next demand zone. So do you know what the buyers did? They took their profit and they have left. All right, they have left already the market. You can see clearly where the daily candle on Thursday closed. It was exactly half the price path of the next demand zone. That was easy, right? But it's supposed to be complex for the retail traders. So everything is hidden in plain sight. So buyers, let's say the buyers have already hit the first take profit. So price will be coming down back So the buyers have only, let me highlight it for you. The buyers, if they buy, the buyers need to retrace back into the pivot at 0.64868. So the first demand zone is at 0.64868. So the buyers will just be waiting for price here, and then if the price goes below 0.64868, the price will come into the main time frame. But the retailers will just be buying everywhere in the market. They'll be buying everywhere they think the price should be buying. But for this chart is allowing us to know where we need to place our demand orders. And we're going to place our demand orders at 0.64868. And if price goes below that level, we're going to move away and run into the next demand zone. I hope that's clear. Because if you check on the 4-hour time frame, which is here, you'll be able to identify that the pivot has been the best resistance for the price for a short term, because even during the NFP, price originated exactly from this is the NFP, originated exactly from the dust line of the demand zone 0.64187 into the next pivot 0.64868. A moment of silence or a clap for this precise analysis that we did. And then later you can be able to spot that the pivot was trying to push price to go below, but since there were no sellers, price went up. So that's it for the demand chart. We don't have much. So you can see there are two dotted lines. So these are the lower time frame demand zone, which are the levels that they push price into the next demand zone. So if you're a buyer, so you might be able to take your, let me just highlight it again for you on the daily time frame. So the buyers will be able to take their profit one, maybe again at 0.65484 and 0.65821. All right. So these are the lower time frame demand zone. Let me just use this text box to just use the same to highlight it for you. So this is the first take profit for the buyers, and this will be the second take profit for buyers for the lower time frame. All right, so let's switch up to the supply chart, and supply chart is really crazy because there are no sellers except news drives price. All right, and this is our take profit. All right, this is where we expect price to shoot. All right, this is our take profit. This is our take profit. All right, so the supply chart allows us to know where the sellers are coming in and where they need to take their profits at. So there are no sellers in the current price, but we expect to see fundamentals the coming week to drive price below. All right, and it's interesting that you're going to expect this price to, sorry, let me just remove this highlight from you and let it stay at the daily time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, our target will be to push price into this level demand zone, into the next supply zone here, and you can see what price did. Let me just put it here for you. You can see we had a rejection on the half zone of where the price was taken to. The first time here and the second time here. So we expect price to come from here all the way down here, or else your analysis should be able to hold this liquidity grab, because the sellers are just aligned at the next supply zone, proximal line 0.6597. Yeah, that's it. We don't have more levels here. Once we know there is a rejection, because you see once the sellers were rejected, we could be able to find this setup. around 498 points. That's it. Thank you for the time, and we are going to check on the moving average so that we might be able to decipher what the retailers, this is the retailers moving average, and the monthly candle is precisely, the monthly candle closed at the support. The monthly candles closed at the resistance, 0.6521. So what do we expect? I'm going to expect price to be rejected by the current price, and price should go now low. All right, that's the monthly time frame. And then next we're going to check on the weekly time frame. Again, you can be able to see that last week, this was the level left by last week analysis. We're able to see that the price had closed on the support, and now this week we saw price again pushing higher. And then interestingly, price closed on this blue moving average here. The price of the weekly candle closed just below. So the next week candle looking bearish seems to be a very good reaction. Yeah, there is reason why the weekly candle didn't go above the support. So we're going to expect a rejection, and the price should be coming lower. On the daily time frame, you'll be able to spot that after the NFP, the Monday, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday candle. The Monday candle got the support from the moving average. The Tuesday candle again got the support from the moving average. The Wednesday candle again got the support from the same moving average. And again, we are going to expect, if the price is not going to go higher into the next moving average, we're going to expect a pullback, because this week we see a very bullish dollar. We're going to expect sellers should push price back into this lower time frame, into this previous support, sorry to say. So that's it. That's the daily time frame. I don't think you should be going below the daily time frame. The 4-hour time frame has too many supporting the price. That's it. So the next we're going to check the institutional moving average. From the institutional moving average, the monthly support shows that price can go into 0.65929 and then go lower into this. Let me show you. Yeah, this is the trading range of the monthly time frame. Yeah, we expect price to go find resistance at 0.65863, take price into 0.6321. And then on the weekly time frame, let me delete this. On the weekly time frame, again, you can be able to see that it was an alignment. Price got the support and was pushed up. And then the previous week we saw that this resistance has been pushing price again lower. Price goes up, lower, price goes up. Maybe if it goes lower again, higher this week, it might find the resistance need to push price way below the price. So on the daily time frame, we are going to expect the price. Yeah, that's the daily time frame. We have the daily candle trying to push price higher. So that's it. We don't have much to say, and we hope you have listened. You have tried to make notes. You try to compare notes with your analysis, so that you might be able, both of us, to make some profits on our portfolio, and we might be able to move up. So lastly, let's check on the simple moving average, which has smooth sentiments. On the monthly support, the trend is bearish. On the weekly support, again, we're seeing consolidation of price unless we see a breakout. On the daily time frame, buyers are really having a push outside the moving average, but we're able to see that the price is really wavy. But we expect, this is our sentiment, we expect a sell-off in price, and we expect it to come into the next support All right, and the half of it is at 0.647. Yeah, we expect a sell. That's it. So lastly, we are going to check on the fundamentals of the week so that we might be able to decipher what we are expecting on the AUDUSD side. Thank you, and let's move on into the next phase of the fundamental analysis. Yeah, welcome to our analysis and the fundamentals of the coming week. I've just been having a preview of what to expect, and it's a very crazy week. It's a very crazy week. Why? Because on Monday we don't have major news, but on Tuesday will become a very big day for traders who are interested in trading AUDUSD and USD. Why? Because we have the high impact news which will cause big volatility in the market. In the morning we have the business confidence, and then we have the interest rate decision on Tuesday. What are we going to have a press conference again? We have inflation rate. Then next we have the core inflation rate from the USD. But on the Sydney session, the main concern will be the interest rates, and it's a very big concern for the participant in the market because do we have a cut? The previous day we had 3.85, and then the consensus should be a drop, which is 3.6%. And then the actual was 3.85, so they didn't reduce. So this day, we're having a bet of 3.65. So will they cut or will they hold? An actual will be unexpected, but the market is really expecting. So they're saying a higher than expected figure should be positive, bullish for the AUDUSD, while a lower than expected figure will be seen as bearish for the AUDUSD. So this is a trap they are keeping all of us in. This reaction talks about expectation. It doesn't talk about the actual figure. This is what most of the traders miss, because the reaction is caused by the expectation, it's not caused by the actual. So we are expecting a consensus of 3.6, which was the same as last time. And what did they do? They didn't change. So it became lower than expected, which became bearish. So will they change again, or will they keep it at 3.85? What do you think? So again, if it falls, it's bearish. If it remains the same, might be mild, but already investors might be already bearish on the same. And then on the New York session on USD, we're having the inflation rate, we have the core inflation rate MOM, we have the CPI, which is a very big news. Again, we have the inflation rate, we have the CPI, we have the core inflation rate, we have the Fed back-in speech, we have the Fed Schmidt speech, and we have the monthly budget statement. And then we have the API crude oil stock change on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have the home loans from the AUDUSD and the investment lending for homes. We have from the USD, we have the MBA 30-year mortgage rate. We have the Fed back-in speech. We have the EIA gasoline stock change. We have the crude oil stock change speech from Goolsbee and Bostic. And then on Thursday again, we have a very crazy day in office, because we're expecting the full-time employment change data to be released on the Australian dollar, employment change again, and then on the unemployment rate, and then the continuing jobless claims from the USD here, and then initial jobless claims, PPI, core PPI, and the Fed back-in speech. So this coming week, on Tuesday and on Thursday, don't be found on the wrong side of the market. You better don't sleep, just be keen on what the market is coming to do, because on Thursday again we have the biggest data being released. And then lastly, on Friday, we're having nothing on the AUDUSD section, but on the USD still we're having high impact news. The New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, the retail sales control group MOM, the retail sales X autos, the import prices, the export prices, the retail sales YY, and much more. So our keenness is to observe that on Tuesday, where we have the interest rates of the AUDUSD, and then we have the CPI of the USD. Be sure. Don't lose money. At least consult us, and we'll be able to help you make a better decision in your tech. It's not good we come at the end of the week having profits and you're there having your losses. So lastly, let's just recap, because this news have tried to shake your head, and you might even avoid even trading AUDUSD and USD if you don't know what's going to happen. But from our analysis, yes, we're going to make a bet live. We're going to expect, let's check on the demand chart. Demand chart, we're going to expect maybe buyers to come in. We're going to expect buyers to come in and take their profit at 0.65484. Lower time frame demand zone, and next they might take 0.565821. And then if buyers are out of the market, we're going to see them retrieve and wait for price at 0.64868, which is the pivot. But from the supply side, what do you think the price? What do you think let's check on the daily time frame. What do you think will be the sentiment of the coming week? Leave a comment below and we'll be glad to serve you. Stay blessed and have yourself a profitable week. Thank you. Set and forget.